In this WrestleTalk news, Bryan Danielson potentially injured in an accident at the AEW Rampage taping, AEW debuting new titles soon, and an update on Roman Reigns' supposed wrestling hiatus, so subscribe and enable notifications to always on for daily wrestling news videos.
Support WrestleTalk!
Bryan Danielson and his Blackpool Combat Club comrades might be on a bit of a tear in AEW at the moment, but there are some opponents that you can't train for. Spoilers for Rampage coming up in a second, so skip ahead if you don't want to know that. Because at yesterday's taping of AEW Rampage, Danielson and Moxley took on Matt Sydal and Dante Martin in tag team action, which the club came out on top of. But when making his way to the back, Danielson took a spill, becoming trapped between the ring and the elevated ramp. Ring crew obviously rushed to his aid, but in videos posted by fans in attendance, you can see Bryan writhing in agony as he tries to get his left leg free. Some fans claim that he was trapped for nearly 10 minutes, while others are saying that it was only a couple. Either way, the leg eventually got loose and Danielson walked to the back on his own. Though no word has yet come down on whether the incident caused any injuries, but it looked pretty hairy for a while there. The Wrestling Observer's Bryan Alvarez seems to think it's all a work, saying on Wrestling Observer Radio, "I am strongly given the impression this was all a work. Told you, from start to finish." So I suppose if we hear otherwise, we will let you guys know. But I think he just came up with a wacky idea and thought it would be funny. It looks like, Moxley and everybody are there and they don't seem overly concerned and they appear to be playing it up with him. And I was told by somebody there that they actually laughed about it. So I think one way or the other, we can tell that he does not appear to be seriously injured, and I think the whole thing was a work. Bryan Alvarez, never heard of Schadenfreude. Hopping the fence to WWE now, and the big news this week is that Sasha Banks and Naomi walked out of Raw after reportedly becoming frustrated with their booked match and the general direction of the women's tag team division. Now, there has been speculation that this walkout was all orchestrated by Sasha Banks and that Naomi was merely dragged along with it, but not according to Wrestling Observer, who are reporting that Naomi's contract is expiring soon. Dave Meltzer on Wrestling Observer Radio noted that she has been in negotiations for a new deal and intimated that the thought within WWE was that she's not leaving no matter what. Her family's here, and so they don't feel the leverage that they might have felt with Kevin Owens or Sami Zayn or someone where if we lowball them, they're gonna leave, so we have to give them a pretty big offer. Now, Meltzer noted that most people are getting substantial raises in WWE because of the competition with AEW, so this would be a good time for Naomi to negotiate to make more money, though he thought this probably won't help her cause in negotiations. Now let's stay with WWE for a Roman Reigns hiatus status update, as WWE has spent the last 5 years building up this one man to make him the undisputed Universal Champion, and then he was like, "I would like to do less, please." People have reported that Roman has taken a new contract that requires him to work less, giving him some more time to spend with his family and potentially go into acting more seriously. Which is something that seemed to be the case after Roman was not advertised for WWE's upcoming round of live shows, making people think he would be taking a prolonged break. Though that has all changed now, as the Tribal Chief is now being advertised not only for the Madison Square Garden Raw show on July 25th, but also SmackDown July 8th, a house show on the 9th of July, SmackDown on July 22nd and August 19th. Now, mathematicians and calendar man will be able to note that that is not all of the available dates that WWE is running in those months, and it doesn't really even include the normal Raw shows. So this is still a really thinned out schedule for the old Champa Champs, but not quite the complete pause that we were expecting. Anyway, hot tag over to Ollie now for the Dynamite review.
Now it's time for my review of AEW Dynamite. In about 5 minutes, the episode kicked off in a big way with the men's Joker reveal for the Owen Hart Foundation tournament. Johnny Elite! Oh yeah, it's that Johnny. It's John Morrison. Not another Johnny wrestling person. That's nice. I like Morrison, Mundo, Impact, wherever he's working that night. I just, I thought when you hear Johnny, I guess that's on me. Morrison got to be far more impressive than his last WWE run, hitting cartwheels, 450 splashes, and some twisty thing I don't know the name of off the top rope. He took most of the match, and then Joe fired back with strikes and a muscle buster to win. Insert faction name here, Jay Lethal, Sanjay Dutt and Satnam Singh attacked Joe afterwards, taking out his arm with a lead pipe, and then the best friends made the save. Why? I don't know. They're the weirdest faction in wrestling. They've got Okada, they've got Trent's mum. They might as well have Samoa Joe too. CM Punk wore like his weirdest music band shirt yet. I've never heard of them. As he was out on commentary for the match of the night, Hangman Page versus Konosuke Takeshita. Takeshita instantly got over with his Japanese fighting spirit style, which these days is mostly taking German suplexes on your neck. Just when I thought it was time for Page to start winning, the match found another gear, with near fall after near fall for Takeshita, which the crowd gave a standing ovation for. There was a possible reason why he got so much offense. Maybe Hangman was thinking more about Punk on commentary than his opponent in the ring, an idea which played into the finish, where Page hit Punk's GTS to win, mirroring Punk winning with the buckshot lariat last week. They then got in each other's faces for another excellent installment in their feud. Fuego del Sol is going to team with the Dark Order against the House of Black. Dude, just give it up, man. Give it up. Swerve Strickland and Keith Lee got a fun win over the Workhorsemen, who are such an underrated team, to build their tag title shot momentum. Team Taz came out, who were followed by Jurassic Express, where Christian not only booked a three-way for the tag titles at Double or Nothing, as expected, but also a three-way for next week between Jungle Boy, Strickland and Starks. Both of which Jungle Boy was a bit like, You sure, Dad? Because you didn't mention that in the car. And Luchasaurus was like, Raw? It's a much needed storyline beat to make Jurassic Express feel more integral in the other two teams' feud. MJF cut a promo so full of cheap Texas heat you could barely hear him, which only fueled the chance for Wardlow's entrance, accompanied by AEW Developmental, even more. But much to Max's frustration, Wardlow stayed strong throughout his whipping, no selling the first 9 shots. So the heels went for Wardlow's true weakness: his penis, hitting a low blow and thankfully laying him out with the diamond ring, because I was worried we then might be getting the whipping torture scene from Casino Royale. This was a very good segment, but it did feel a bit rushed. Trent and Rocky Sabroponki Vice are officially back together, and now they want the ROH tag titles from FTR, despite seemingly entering Joe's feud with Lethal and Dutch just a few segments earlier. Then came the final quarter-final match in the Owen Hart Foundation tournament. Ground-type Pokemon Kyle O'Reilly versus Flying-type Pokemon Ray Phoenix. It was a wonderful blend of styles, both men at the forefront of their respective types, where Phoenix's babyface high spots would be cut off by Kyle's heel technical submissions. The finish was spectacular for both styles. Phoenix tightrope walked to hit a Hurricane Rana on O'Reilly outside the ring, but then Kyle caught him back in the ring with an armbar to win. A very good match that lacked the crowd heat it deserved. The segment of the show came next as Blackpool via LAX Combat Club dueled on the mic with the Jericho Appreciation Society, the latter of which I am now a card-carrying member of because Chris Jericho cut one of his most brutal heel promos in years. He said he thought William Regal would be dead by now, calling him a world-class addict and that he's been fired from every company he's ever worked for. Then he turned his attention on Regal's protege Bryan Danielson, saying he's the opposite. He did become the world's best wrestler, but at the expense of being a squeaky clean nerd. Don't worry though, because if Danielson hangs around with this lot long enough, Regal will be forcing disco biscuits and whiskey down his throat so much, he'll have to join the rehab program with Moxley. A truly mic drop moment. And then, as if it couldn't get any better, Jericho then called himself a wizard who has the magical power of fireball throwing. Considering his group's realistic pro wrestling edge, Regal's reply was lamely sports entertainment. His big comeback being how he used to put Jericho's toothbrush up his bumhole. I hope for him it was a vibrating one. More fun. Moxley brought it right back though, interrupting Jericho's Stadium Stampede challenge, saying he ain't doing that S-word, instead setting up a 5-on-5 gang warfare match at the pay-per-view. As an excellent parting gift, Jericho reminded the Combat Club how much Eddie Kingston and Danielson hate each other, which caused a shoving match between them, a nice beat of dissension that makes sense for their characters. Britt Baker then came out for her Joker match, who was revealed as Maki Ito. Kawaii.
Kawaii desu.
The crowd didn't really react at first, but Ito quickly got over with a bunch of fun spots, tricking Britt into a cradle, overcoming the language barrier by giving her the finger, and then firing up off her inhumanly hard head. It was a fun match, but ultimately a comedy one that Baker won easily. Toni Storm came out for a stare down ahead of their semi-final next week. Poor Tony Schiavone can't even celebrate the upcoming 3-year anniversary of AEW without getting interrupted. Serena Deeb cut him off to cut a promo on Thunder Rosa and her trainer Dustin Rhodes. This was a much better angle than their promo 2 weeks ago. And with barely 10 minutes left for the main event, Adam Cole had no time for Jeff Hardy hand-waving entrance and attacked him as he walked down. This was a much easier match on the body than last week, with Cole mostly working over Jeff with normal moves. i.e. not off a giant ladder, nor onto a table made of chairs. Cole dodged the Swanton Bomb, thank God, and hit the boom for the win. The Bucks then jumped the Hardys, which brought down Sting, Darby Allin, Red Dragon for more brawling, including an awesome Sting no-sell from O'Reilly's chair shot, to then just lob it back in his face, unprotected. In retaliation, they pulmonized Sting's ankle as the show went off air. What did you think of Dynamite? Let me know in the comments. The Joker surprises were more fun cameos than a new force on the roster. Takeshita was excellent and Jericho's promo was deliciously cutting. A fine build-in episode for the pay-per-view. This week's Dynamite is 80%. But all isn't as well as it seems in AEW, as another report has come out about the frustration backstage. Find out about that now.
In today's WrestleTalk news, more people are unhappy in AEW, Eric Bischoff really doesn't like CM Punk, scrapped plans for a new Judgment Day member, and I'll be reviewing last night's episode of NXT 2.0.